All right, welcome back to Lightning 100's Nashville Sunday Night, live from 3rd and Lindsley. This evening is brought to you by Goose Island Beer Company and New Amsterdam Vodka. I'm your host, Anna Lee. Let's hear it again for Aaron Lee Tasjan. It's a great show. Up next, his songs and sound have been called country, cowpunk, folk, rock. I think it all works. It all fits. He's written songs recorded by artists like Jerry Jeff Walker and Cross Canadian Ragweed and tons of others. And while known as a songwriter, he's not opposed to covering songs as well. He included a song on his last album, The Grifters Hymnal, that was written by Ringo Starr. Just happens to be a big fan who's a Beatle. His brand new album, The Ruffian's Misfortune, just came out a few weeks ago. Nashville, please welcome Ray Wylie Hubbard.
I saw old dog as chase his rabbit. Saw a dog chase his rabbit. Saw a dog chase his rabbit. It's on Sunday about noon. I said to the rabbit, "You're gonna make it." I said to the rabbit, "Are you gonna make it?" I said to the rabbit, "You're gonna make it." The rabbit said, "Well, I got to." You get it? Well, a woman's heart's a sacred thing. A woman's heart's a sacred thing. A woman's heart's a sacred thing. What's a man to do? Try a little tenderness, Otis Redding said. Try a little tenderness is what he said. Try a little tenderness, Otis said. And then he said, I got to watch me work. Now there's two kind of people in the world. There's two kind of people in the world. There's two kind of people in the world, the day people and the night people. And it's the night people's job. It's the night people's job. It's the night people's job to get the day people's money. Well, between the devil and the deep blue sea, between the devil and the deep blue sea, between the devil and the deep blue sea, that's where I am. I don't know what that means. Maybe it means I'm funky cool. Maybe it means I'm funky cool. Maybe it means I'm funky cool. Maybe it means I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. If it's in the groove, everybody loves it. If it's in the groove, everybody loves it. If it's in the groove, everybody loves it. The great Howlin' Wolf said that we've a short time to be here. We've a short time to be here. We've a short time to be here. So get out of your rut and get in the groove. Get out of your rut and get in the groove. Get out of your rut and get in the groove. Are you ready for this? You ready? Well, woman I love is named Ramona. She kinda looks like Tempest Storm, and she can dance like a little Egypt. She works down the Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Ramona's got a keen sense of humor. She got a tattoo down her arm. It's of a python eating a little mouse, wearing a sailor hat that says Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. works there? She says, well, it's got its charm. There's nothing to do in the winter now, and then some kid gets bit at the snake farm. I said, snake farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake farm, it pretty much is snake farm. It's a reptile house, snake farm. Ooh. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention something. This is a sing-along. Really? It goes Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Ooh. Ain't exactly kumbaya, but all I got. Help me now. Help me sing it. I said Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Ramona likes malt liquor and a band from Wales that was called The Alarm. She said she cried when they broke up. She still plays the records at the Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Sometimes Ramona calls me up. She says, come on down here, it's getting warm. And she runs everybody off, and we, you know, Snake Farm. Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Oh, help me now. I said Snake Farm, it just sounds nasty. Snake Farm, it pretty much is Snake Farm. It's a reptile house, Snake Farm. Ooh, ooh. Thank you very much. It doesn't get any better than this. Really, it doesn't get any better at all. Thank you guys. I'm very, very happy to be here. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the band from Austin, Texas. That's Kyle Snyder right there on them drum things, laying that groove there. Over here on the guitar, that's my son, Lucas Hubbard, on the guitar. Which I would imagine he's 20, 21 years old by now. I should have kept up with that. We're very glad to be here. This might be the first time that a number of you have appeared before me. So I would imagine after the first two songs, you're a little nervous. Kind of wondering what the refund policy is. There is none. But I've written these songs, I talk about them, and I sing them. I wrote this next song here, the young guy named Hayes Carl. That's what a smattering sounds like. Hayes is a great young writer. It's really nice to see someone that young that's pretty much already burnt out and fried. Usually you have to be my age to be that bitter and resentful. But first time I met Hayes Carl's down in Galveston. We're getting ready to go do this show, and I'd heard of him, but I never had heard him perform, so we're getting ready to go down there and do a gig together. So anyhow, we got about a 3-hour drive from Austin down to Corpus, so this buddy of mine said, well, here's a book you can read on the way down there. I said, what's it about? He said, it's about these French poets from the late 1800s. And I go, I don't want to read that. And he goes, no, I'll read it. So I started reading these guys' poetry and about these guys, and their poetry was like brilliant. They were breaking the rules of poetry up to that time. They had taken what the Romantic poets had done, just wadded that up, thrown that away, and were writing almost rock lyrics in the late 1800s, and it was just brilliant. But they were despicable people. They drank. But yeah, a whole lot. Yeah, and then they had, sordid affairs, and they just lived lives of debauchery and were just self-absorbed, horrible, rotten people. But their poetry was brilliant. So I get down to Galveston, I hear Hayes perform, and I think to myself, this is how those guys must have smelled. I got a woman who's wild as wrong. She likes being naked and gazed upon. She crosses a bridge, she sets it on fire. She lands like a bird on a telephone wire. I'm gonna holler and I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna give me some mescaline, and then I'm gonna rhyme that with gasoline. It's a drunken poetry. There's some money on the table and a pistol on the floor, and a few paperback books by Louis L'Amour. Whiskey bottles I scattered out of last night's clothes, with cigarettes and papers and Oreos. My harmonica has got a busted reed. My lips are chapped and about to bleed. She says that's nothing when she was a kid. She danced with the dead at the pyramids. I'm gonna holler and I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna give me some mescaline, and then I'm gonna rhyme that with gasoline. It's a drunken poetry. I'll never pay back my student loan. Smelling like Coors and cheap cologne. She tells me not to worry about Judgment Day. She says dying to get into heaven just ain't our way. I'm gonna holler and I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna give me some mescaline, and then I'm gonna rhyme that with gasoline. It's a drunken poet's dream. Whoa, I got a woman who's wild as wrong. She likes being naked and gazed upon. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hayes Carl and I made that up, and Hayes may have recorded it. I don't know. I've never listened to any of his records. So, but I put it out on this album. Came out about 4 or 5 years ago. Came out on this album. The title of the album is called A Enlightenment, B Endarkenment. Hint: there is no C. It's the worst title there's ever been for an album. A lot of journalists let me know that. We don't want to write that much. And it's got this really creepy picture on the front of the album cover. I got my head cut off, and I'm holding my own head in my hand. You know, I mean, I got on a nice suit, but you show it to little kids, it kind of skips them out. So it's got this horrible title and a creepy picture. So you've got to be asking, Ray, why would you do that? Not quite in unison, but you'd be asking it. Well, I'll tell you why, since you asked. I finally figured out you get more attention burning down the barn than you do carrying out the trash. Sugar's got some sweetness to it, as do my baby's lips. And when she hears some old howling wolf, she got to move her hips. She ain't much for the bluegrass fiddle. She likes the bottleneck slide. A little kick with a lot of bottom. Let the resonator take the ride. Listen up. Look at here. I'm talking about the country blues. You take some black diamond strings and you put them on a J45. You hit them chords, get that thump, you're downright sanctified. Or you can take a lipstick pickup, play it through a Fender Tweed. It's so sweet, oh so sweet when it squeals, squalls, and bleeds. Listen up, y'all. Look at here, talking about the country blues. I said, all right. I said, all them down on country blues. Well, did you enjoy that? You want to hear it again played right? Yeah, me too. One, I'm strong for the union and the rank and file. And I talk with a southern drawl and I still say honey child. And I'm partial to old John Lee Hooker, sang a King Crawling Snake. And I believe that Muddy Waters is as deep as William Blake. So listen up, y'all. Look at here. I'm talking about the country blues. Listen up. Look at here. Talking about the country blues. I said, all right, them down home country blues. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that if this is the first time you've ever seen me perform, that I am an acquired taste. When I was a young man, about 21 years old, y'all, all I wanted was a stripper girlfriend and a gold top Les Paul. Be careful of the things you wish for, or you might get them. There was a nightclub in Dallas. It's called Mother Blues. It's where Lightning Hopkins played and Freddie King even paid some dues. And all the dealers and gamblers and young white hipsters, they all made the scene. The girl at the door who checked IDs was just 16. It was not a place for law-abiding citizens. Jackie Jones, he had him a habit he just couldn't stop. said, give me $500. I say, my Les Paul Gold Top. I drove my daddy's car down to Ross Avenue and I sold it. I guess I should have told him. He alluded to the police that someone stole it. It was just the first of many bad decisions I was to make for the next 20 years. Oh, but I had me a guitar. This is the first song that I learned on it too. Some of you may know this if you happen to be a musician or a waitress or a bartender. And some of you, well, you just may know it anyway if you're not one of those. But that the real nightlife begins after the clubs close. It's what they call after hours. Because it's after the hours, after business is open. I'm going to work on this part. At 2 a.m. and everybody's gone but the band, the dealers, and Jack Jones. And then the girls from the Landing Strip Club come over after they put the clothes back on. So I'm Mamaw Blues and I'm sitting on an amp. I play a twist and shout. And this tall, a drink of water walk in, look like she might have to shoot her way out. She come up to me. She said, you know anything good on that guitar? I didn't say nothing. I just kept on playing. She said, have you ever heard this song called Poke Salad Annie? I just kept on playing. She said, every time I hear that song, my insides feel like warm butter and I just won't take off my clothes and dance around in my underwear. I said, down in Louisiana, where the alligator grows so mean. That's all I knew of it. But it was enough. So me and this dancer, we hit it off like a metaphor. Like a metaphor for a hydrogen bomb. We was enriched uranium, supercritical mass. We was a chain reaction. It was love and lust. Mostly lust, but a mutual attraction. So there I was, boys, at 21 years old. I had it all. I had a fine stripper girlfriend and a gold top Les Paul. Ah, the future. Oh, it looked promising. But there were dark clouds on the horizon. She was a beautiful girl, but she liked to drink a lot of tequila. Yeah, that ain't all. I come home 4 or 5 times and she'd pawn my Les Paul. So we broke up and she went to Hollywood. She married her an actor. She got a job dancing on the Hudson Brothers TV show and modeling lipstick for Max Factor. I'm glad she done all right. I got over her eventually. I ain't glad. I'm glad she done all right. Well, now me, I never really busted through the gates into the big time as a rock and roll star. For 40 years I just carried around an old gold top guitar. But love and fate are mysterious things in this funky old world. It was 26 years ago I ended up marrying the Mother Blues door girl. We had us a boy and he 21 years old now, he playing guitar. He ended up with my Les Paul Gold Top. He ain't playing it tonight because he don't want to fly it. So he's playing my old 55 Esquire. Now, I don't know if Lucas is gonna hang his life on a guitar. It's a hard old road, you know. Not every gig is as good as this one. They fed us. But I am very, very grateful for the time I get to share the stage with my son. I'm very grateful to share the stage with Kyle Snyder, who just laying down a groove you could hammer nails with. I'm very, very grateful to, I'm an old cat. I'm very grateful I can still write these old songs. I'm grateful I'm still able to travel around and play them for people. I'm very grateful that people come out and hear me play my songs. And the days that I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, I have really good days, and this has been a damn fine day. Thank you very much. I need to explain something here, and I'm not just trying to brag or show off or anything, but if you did happen to see me and Kyle and Lucas, a young bass player named John Michael, on David Letterman, I guess about 2 years ago, I need to explain something. Because a bunch of my buddies came up and said, man, I can't believe you was on big-time national TV and you were singing and you just left out 2 verses. No, we had to do that on purpose because of a time limit. What happened, I guess a couple of years ago, my agent gets his phone call. I think his Logan was working at the time on that. Anyhow, so we get this phone call, and it says, this is Jennifer from Worldwide Pants. And David Letterman would like to know if Ray Wiley would be on his TV show January 9th and sing the song Mother Blues. So Logan said, well, let me check his calendar and make sure he's not doing a happy hour gig in Waco. Those things are really hard to reschedule. So luckily I wouldn't. And she said, and Dave would like Ray to sing the song Mother Blues, but you only got 3 minutes and 30 seconds to do it. So we had to cut out the metaphor verse or something. So anyhow, just want to let you know. Where I live in Wimberley, Texas, in order to get over to New Braunfels, Texas, you got to go across Purgatory Road. So one day I'm on Purgatory Road, and I'm in my van, and I'm listening to Lightning Hopkins on my CD player, and I'm driving along, and I'm listening to Lightning Hopkins, and I look out the window, and this crow lands on this fence post, and the crow starts cawing. But it looked like the crow was singing exactly what Lightning Hopkins was singing at the same time. I used to spend a lot of money to feel like that. And then the next song came on was this old Sam Cooke song. And I remember when I was a kid, The Tragedy of Sam Cooke, and I followed the best I could in the newspaper, and then they had the verdict of that, and the grand jury thing, and I thought it was kind of sketchy. Then later on, Sam Cooke's family thought there was kind of a cover-up, that maybe there was some sort of a nightclub hoodlum, musician, music publisher thugs involved, and so I followed that for a little while. Then the next song came on was this song I'd written about my family being bootleggers and gamblers and fortune tellers up in southeastern Oklahoma when I was a kid. Anyhow, Lightning Hopkins, his Black Crows, Sam Cooke, and my family kind of twirl around my head there for a little while as I'm driving. And then I wrote this little ditty. Mama, give me a nickel and a deck of cards. Said, go and play out in the backyard. Walking down the alley, come my Uncle Lonnie. Said, let me teach you about 3-card money. Take a ace of hearts and 2 black queens. Flip them over so they can't be seen. Spin them around 4 or 5 times, bet a nickel, find an ace, win a dime. 20 minutes later, I had $35 singing Ain't Misbehaving by the Great Fat Swaller. I believe, gonna count my blessings. I believe, gonna count my blessings. Well, I saw a black crow on the fence post, singing away like Sam Hopkins' ghost. He sang when you say I ain't breathing no more. Nail my feathers to the old barn door. Or drag my carcass out behind the shed. Just make sure you're pretty sure I'm dead. Ask a Ouija board if you can't quite tell. Or if I start to stink like the floors in hell. Go to Navasota after I done dine. It don't do you no good sitting around crying. I believe I'm gonna count my blessings. Yes, I am. I believe I'm gonna count my blessings. So I got me a pencil and a moleskin book. When I heard Bertha Franklin shot and killed Sam Cooke, oh no. I wrote down December 11th, 1964. We ain't gonna be twisting the night away no more. It took 15 minutes for the jury to decide the cause of death, a justified homicide, unless the boy wasn't called by the prosecution. Oh, but she was running some prostitution. I see in the motel, had a busted down door. Sam's wallet and his money was never accounted for. And I believe we all should count our blessings every day. I believe we should count our blessings each and every day. I believe I'm gonna count my blessings, yes I am. I believe I'm gonna count my blessings. I believe I'm gonna count my blessings. I believe I'm gonna count being here tonight in Nashville, Tennessee, with you fine people here and on the radio. That's one of my blessings, and that's 5 today, count. Thank you very much. Well, I got this new CD just came out. It's called The Ruffian's Misfortune, and it's got a lot of your favorite songs on it. You won't know that unless you buy it. And we were out in California playing out there at Sebastopol at a festival, and I'm getting ready, and we're just having it's a great time. And all of a sudden, I look over the side of the stage, and there's Charlie Musselwhite just standing there, and it was just, you know, just to see one of your heroes, and then to meet them, and they're as neater and cooler and gracious than you can imagine. He was just such a, it was such a treat. So now we got together and we kind of worked on a couple of songs, and I hope they get cut here pretty soon. But this little song I wrote, it's called Mr. Musselwhite's Blues. I was born in Mississippi at a place that I did not choose. The doctor, he pulled me from my mama, said, son, welcome to the blues. Welcome to the blues. When I was 18, I come to Chicago in an old brown suit and wore-ass shoes. Little Walter, give me a harmonica. He said, this might help some if you got the blues. This might save you if you got the blues. We're the woman I love. She left me for another man. I said, Mr. Williams, what should I do? Big Joe said, well, I seen that woman. And Charlie, you better off with the blues. I seen her, son. You better off with the blues. This is what they sound like. I may not get to heaven, but if I do, I'm going to tell all them saints walking around. I was born and I died with the blues. I was born and I died with the blues. I was born and I died with the Thank you very much. I can do another song off the new record here, and you know, it's not really a concept album, but there is kind of this theme that kind of runs through it. You know, like I say, I'm getting to be an old cat. You know, you get my age, you kind of start thinking about your mortality a little bit, and so kind of, you know, there's this the idea of the whole album is that I, you know, really hope God grades on a curve. You know, that you know, maybe a C- won't get me into heaven, but you know, maybe it'll get me into like some celestial vocational school. There are some saints that have been forgotten, like most of my drunken prayers. They say there's a heaven that's somewhere above yonder, where there's no more crosses to bear. And there's ghosts all along the highways, and there are storms out on the seas. My only hope now is that somewhere in that heaven, someone's saying a prayer for me. I've been riding stone-blind horses, never seeing a reason to believe. Hey, sweet Genevieve, say a prayer for me and the wild young cowboys, old drunks, the paramours and thieves. The high slurred whistle of a red-winged blackbird sounds like he's singing, oh, that I might die. It's a song for those who have fallen, unrepentant with no alibis. I've been riding stone-blind horses, never seeing a reason to believe. Hey, sweet Genevieve, say a prayer for me and the wild young cowboys, old drunks, paramours and thieves. Hey, sweet Genevieve, say a prayer for me and the wild young cowboys, old drunks, the paramours and thieves. Thank you very much. Thank you. I guess it was about 2 years ago. I'm right in my van, and I get this phone call, and I go, hello, and this voice on the line goes, Ray, this is Ronnie Dunn. And I go, who? And he goes, it's Ronnie Dunn. I said, I don't know Ronnie Dunn. He says, it's Ronnie Dunn of Brooks and Dunn. Now, are you one in the hat? And he goes, no, I'm the other one. I said, well, who the hell is this? He said, no, it's Ronnie Dunn. He said, I was talking to Tony Joe White, and he gave me your phone number. And I went, oh, man, it's Ronnie Dunn. Hey, man, I'm sorry about the hat remark. I thought it was like Kevin Welch or somebody just messing with me. So I'm sorry. And he said, yeah. He said, I was talking to Tony Joe, and I was just telling him how much I love your album, The Grifter's Hymnal. And so Tony said, well, you ought to call him up and tell him that. And so he said, I just want to call and tell you that I think The Grifter's Hymnal is one of the best records I've heard in about the last 10 years. The production, the songwriting, and the sound, and everything. He said, I just think it's phenomenal. And which has nothing to do with this next song. I just thought I'd share that. I have no morals. No, but anyhow. So anyhow, he said, you want to know if we want to get together and write some songs. So we got together and write some songs. And like I say, he's this. I didn't know that much about everything. I knew he did My Maria because of B.W. Stevenson and all that stuff. And so, but he's just a great cat. It's just his songwriting cool, just a cool cat. So anyhow, we ended where we wrote this song here. Hey, pretty thing, let me tell you, I was raised on the Rolling Stone. I cut my teeth on the Allman Brothers and Billy Gibbons' tone. I learned the blues in Memphis and how to fight in Texas bars. I did a little time in Oklahoma for hot wire cars. I'm a Ogie on the road from Tishomingo to Nassau and 402. Oh, I'm bet on Fords and Chevrolets, but I've been good to you. Hey, pretty thing, maybe you heard I roll a Mustang 429. Running from a law outside of Kansas, the car wasn't mine. You got the juice and you got the junk to get any man you want. I'm pretty fast, you look a lot faster, and I bet you ain't a debutante. I'm a Ogie on the road from Tishomingo and an asshole in 402. Oh, I'm bet on Fords and Chevrolets, but I've been good to you. Hey, pretty thing, let me show you my L.A. ink tattoo. And if you come with me to the City of Angels, I'll buy one for you. It's a one-day drive from Abilene to the California state line. We'll stop at the Sands of Vegas and bet it all on Black 29. I'm a Ogie on the road from Tishomingo and an asshole in 402. Oh, I'm bet on Fords good to you. Well, I'm bet on Fords and Chevrolets, but I'll be good to you. Oh, I'm bet on Fords and Chevrolets, but I'll be good to you. Thank you guys very much. And it was really nice, talk about some. I haven't rolled a lot of sevens on other people's cutting my songs crap table. Boy, I don't know where that came from. But I've had a few people cut my songs and everything, and then that one right there is so weird. Is Sammy Hagar cut that and put it out on a couple while back, and he does it a little different than I do, but we're very proud of that. Well, I tell you what, once again, out there's Mr. Kyle Snyder on them drums, just laying down a groove that you could hammer nails with. And over here on the guitar, it's Nicholas Hubbard over there. And I've heard this before. This is a song that I wrote a long time ago, and this band up there in Oklahoma and Texas named Cross Canadian Ragweed cut it. And they broke up, the Beatles broke up. It happens, it's just, it tears you up for a while. But anyhow, I really appreciate them finding this old song of mine and putting it on one of their records, and me getting enough royalty money to buy a fence. And it's not to keep, people out, it's the deer, So anyhow, this is a trashy little song here. I'm a great believer in the First Amendment, and because of that, it's a very, very precious amendment. So here's a little bluegrass murder ballad we kind of do for the floor. Last night I went down to the railroad tracks. I watched a train roll by. There were 99 cars screaming into the dark. I heard a lonesome whistle cry. With her name on my arm, the rain coming down. It was like the very first time that I took her down to railroad tracks. And the red lips touched mine. She said, "Oh, rock and roll. Oh, hoochie coo now. Shake that thing. Honey, love me, duh." How the woman gotta walk that make a man cry, throw back his head and howl. Ruby red lips and liquid hips, more than the law will allow. Now I told her once, I told her twice, how much I told her 1,000 times. I got a red-hot mind and a cold black heart. I am the jealous kind. How the woman just laughed and she said, "Sweet daddy, you know you're the only one. You're my smooth lover boy, my heartache and joy. Come on, little house of fun, let's rock and roll." Suchi-coo now, shake that thing. Honey, love me, do. It was early last night. I went downtown, a little place called Johnny's Last Stand. Through the blues and the smoke I saw on the dance floor, she's with another man. The dead man's name was Louis Dupree. I pushed a little button on my knife. I walked up to him, I said, "Hello, sonny boy, have you enjoyed your life? It's time to rock and roll." Suchi-coo now, shake that thing. Honey, love me, do. Now down in Louisiana, if you're bad over in Louisiana, they put you in the penitentiary. If you're bad in the penitentiary, they take you out, they put shackles around your ankles, and they put you out there laying the tires on the railroad track is where the bad men was. But they would sing. And this is what they would sing sometimes. Now tell me who's that writing? It's John the Revelator. Tell me who's that writing? It's John the Revelator. Tell me who's that writing? It's John the Revelator. Wrote the book of the seven seals. Tell me what's John writing? John the Revelator. Tell me what's John writing? John the Revelator. Tell me what's John writing? John the Revelator wrote the book of the seven seals. Well, God come down in the cool of the day. He called Adam by his name, Adam. But Adam hid and he would not come out because he was naked and ashamed. Who's that writing? It's John the Revelator. Tell me who's that writing? It's John the Revelator. Tell me who's that writing? It's John the Revelator. Wrote the book of the seven seals. Tell me what's John writing? John the Revelator. Tell me what's John writing? John the Revelator. Tell me what's John writing? John the Revelator wrote the book of the seven seals. Now Jesus, he had 12 apostles. They was all full-grown men. The first one to see him when he come back from the dead was a red-headed woman. They say she'd known sin. What's that tell you? Think about it. They put Jesus in the tomb. The 11 apostles that's left, they run away. Who stayed? A woman who had a reputation had a bad reputation. A woman who was known as loose with her favors. A sinner. It was a woman who was a sinner stayed, and when they rolled away the tomb, it was a red-headed woman who saw him when they come back after the disciples run off. So what does that tell you? That a sinner was the first one to see him when he come back. There's hope for me. Well, now they tell me at the streets of heaven I'll pay with diamonds and gold. I may not get there, but if I do, I believe I should take off my shoes. I'm gonna walk around heaven. We're gonna walk around heaven barefooted, singing God's praise. We're gonna walk around heaven. We're gonna walk around heaven. Where there ain't no wind today. Well, it ain't no secret if you know me. I've been no count most of my life, but I've been converted. I got the Spirit. There's a chance we might all see this paradise. We're gonna walk around heaven. Gonna walk around heaven barefooted, singing God's praise. Gonna walk around heaven. Gonna walk around heaven. Where there ain't no wind today. You got the line boss. He's a man in charge of the men on the chain gang. Every once in a while he'll have him a bad day. He'll come out to the men, they'll be chopping weeds. He'll come up to him, he'll take his shotgun, he'll nudge him, he'll look down and go, "Was it worth it, son? Was it worth it?" Men go, "No, no." The line boss will smile, walk on, he'll come to another man, he'll take his shotgun, he'll nudge him, he'll look down and go, "Was it worth it, son? Huh? Was it really worth it?" Man go, "No, no, no." Every once in a while, he'll come out with his man on the chain gang, take his shotgun, he'll nudge him, he'll look down the barrel and he'll go, "Was it worth it, son? Huh? Was it worth it?" And the man will stop. Yeah. Yep. I'd do it again. Whatever you do, it better be worth it. 5:30 a.m. wake-up call. Last night I went down to the railroad tracks. I watched a train roll by. There were 99 cars screaming into the dark. I heard a lonesome whistle cry. With her name on my arm, her rain coming down. I kissed her for the very last time. I took her down the railroad tracks and her red dead lip touched mine. Rock and roll. Hoochie coo now. We gonna shake that thing. Honey, let me do. We gonna rock and roll. We gonna hoochie coo. We gonna shake that thing. Honey, let me do. Honey, let me do. Honey, let me do. Honey, let me do. Oh, you guys so much. Thank you, Lightning 100. We had us a good time. Thank you.
Ray Wiley Hubbard, live on Lightning 100. Fantastic, man. That was so good. Thank you, guys. What do you guys think about hearing a little more of Ray Wiley Hubbard? Well, stick around. If you're in the club tonight, you might be able to get another song, so stick around. The Ruffian's Misfortune is available here tonight, along with some other of his releases, and via the regular digital outlets, iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff. Stay in touch on Twitter at Ray Wiley or at raywiley.com. Thanks again to Aaron Lee Tashin, and thank you all for coming out tonight for Nashville Sunday Night Live from 3rd and Lindsley. The show is produced by Lightning 100 and made possible by Ron Bryce and the amazing staff here at 3rd and Lindsley, with generous support from our sponsors Goose Island Beer Company and New Amsterdam Vodka. Join us next week for Shelley Fairchild with Rick Brantley. Thanks for listening and supporting Nashville's independent radio, Lightning 100.